Mars is a planet we know so little about in Helldivers 2. The only time we ever visited it was for Helldiver training that everyone gets before they're thrown in a cryogenic tube and shipped off to kill the enemies of democracy. It has always been visible on our mission table in our ships, the only other planet shown in the solar system other than Super Earth. What is the history of Mars in the Helldivers lore, and why was it destroyed without so much as a whimper? Today, we're going to learn about the mysterious planet in Helldivers 2 and 1, Mars. As far as we know, in the Helldivers lore is nothing. There is basically no information other than the training grounds in the lore, as like the wiki. However, in the wiki, it is stated that it has been terraformed, and you can kind of tell this when you go on a training mission there, but it is stated that it has been terraformed enough so that humans, some plants like shrubs, and even terminids can survive on its atmosphere. This means there was a massive effort to terraform Mars, most likely sometime before or extremely soon after the First Galactic War. Now, yes, that kind of sounds like a cop-out, but before you say that, that would make sense. That time period would make sense to a degree. So let me explain it. Before doesn't actually make a ton of sense, although I could see it happening as the galactic expansion would happen. Naturally, Mars is one of the first places you would want to go to. However, was it terraformed before the First Galactic War? I don't know. Had it been slightly colonized? I almost guarantee that. Now, again, most of the lore I'm talking about with Mars is all speculation. We have borderline nothing with it. So do take what I say with a grain of salt, unless I do say that it is a fact that I found or that I have inferred based on concrete facts. Now, I think it's more likely that Super Earth was terraformed during, like right at the end, or just after the First Galactic War, most likely just after. The reason is terraforming takes an extreme amount of resources to do, and they are not exactly, thriving in those resources as they're in a war. And at the end of Helldivers 2 or Helldivers 1, many people don't really understand the way the game was played, but the game was played in 20 to 30 minute or a day periods where basically the enemies of Super Earth had gotten to around Super Earth and you had to defend it. And every 20 to 30 days, either Super Earth was lost and that was it, or they won and that was also it, and it was reset after that. So that's how the first game was played. Now, just after a major war, such as the First Galactic War, many insanely powerful new technologies, such as the faster than light travel, which is the main one, would have been created, and this would have led to Mars being terraformed. That technology would have allowed Mars to be terraformed in a much quicker manner with all the new technology after the First Galactic War, which lasted 40 years. Not in the game. In the first game, it was only 20 to 30 days, but in the actual lore, it's roughly 40 years, which is quite a long galactic war, but it makes sense if they didn't have the fast and light engines till near the end of the war. Now, this, again, would lead me to believe that Mars came to be the planet it is. Well, okay, before it came to be the planet it was before the Illuminate raised it. Between the years of 2044, the year the First Galactic War started, and 2094, 10 years after the First Galactic War ended. While, again, it's a 50-year ballpark, I do think that it is closer to the end of that, possibly between 2084 and 2094. However, again, this is only an estimation. Take it for what you will. I could be completely wrong, but that makes sense for the lore. But what does Mars look like now in 2185? Like years later, like 100 years after the First Galactic War. Well, at this exact moment, it is a smoldering rock floating through the vacuum of space with no life on it whatsoever. But it was a red desert that had some life before. Before the Illuminate decided to do their stupid thing and completely destroy the planet, which is an issue that I will talk about in a few minutes. Now, the actual biome for Mars in the game would have been unique had we gone there. It would have been the Martian dunes, and maybe Martian desert, like a slightly different one, not as much dunes, and Martian mountains and stuff like that. But Mars had its own unique biomes because they would have been like the desert biomes except red. So they would have been unique in the Helldivers game. But again, we never got to go there, so this is neither here nor there. Now, we only ever see the Martian Dune biome slightly for only a brief amount of time while going through the training, which is no longer available because Mars is gone. So, oh well. Now, had we had a chance to defend it, which would have been basically a desert planet with red sand. Like, that's what it would have been. Like, the other planets that had deserts, it's that exact same thing, I would believe, but it would be just red. So that would have been really cool. I wish we got that. And I mean, again, it's nothing super special. It is Mars, which is kind of cool, but it's nothing super special. It's just another color. It's just red, and instead of the typical sandy tan or whatever the color is for sand. Now, as for the moment, how is Mars? It's gone, destroyed. Not literally, there is still a planet there, but nothing created there is still standing. Everything on the surface is completely destroyed. It is a barren and most likely a toxic and irradiated wasteland. Nothing we want to go down and nothing we could probably survive. Now, the odds of us Helldivers ever visiting the red planet are very low now. Although I wouldn't completely rule it out, as we could get something like a wasteland planet to try and fight on, which would be really cool. Like, and not like the ash wastelands or the arid wastelands, but like a unique biome that we would get that's like a wasteland. It's like crashed buildings everywhere and ships and all kinds of other stuff and new things. Basically, that would be really cool. I would love to see that. Arrowhead, let's make that happen. That would be really cool. But again, I don't see that happening, but it could happen. I'm not going to rule it out. Now, why did the Illuminate choose to destroy Mars? I know this is what y'all been waiting for since y'all clicked on this video. Here it is. Why did they? From a logistical point of view, capturing Mars should have been what they did. It would have given them a huge advantage in the invasion of Super Earth had they taken Mars instead of glassing the entire planet, which logistically, again, makes no sense. Why did they just get rid of it? Because, okay, and this bothers me a little bit because it's a little bit of a inaccuracy in the way that the Illuminate worked. But for the invasion fleet, they entered through the Meridian Singularity and they captured, they didn't destroy, they captured Widow's Harbor, Pylon 5, and New Haven. They captured those planets. Maybe it's a supply line, but I doubt that because we are fighting a single host, the Great Host, a single fleet, and it's not getting backup. So it doesn't make sense to capture those planets and waste resources. What they should have done is just blitz straight to Mars, capture Mars, use it as their staging ground for the invasion, and all of a sudden there's literally nothing we can do as they just have infinite amount of troops storming that one beach and not ample time for Super Earth to get ready as they take over these other three planets. Again, I don't want them to do this, but that, again, logistically speaking, that makes significantly more sense. And they would have lost significantly less troops than they did. They lost 21% of their forces fighting on those three planets that didn't make sense for them to fight on. They wasted 20% of their fleet fighting for nothing. Logistically speaking, the Illuminate are idiots. They made the biggest strategical blunder of the entire Second Galactic War. They skipped Mars and they captured three planets they didn't need to. That doesn't make any sense. And anyways, I'm sorry, I'm ranting really badly about this. But see, they had the technology to raise a planet. They did it to Mars. So why didn't they just do that to New Haven, Pylon 5, and Widow's Harbor? Why didn't they do that? They just attacked, invaded, captured, went to the next planet. I don't know if they left troops on the other planets, like a force to, maintain order of the Illuminate. I don't know that. But If they did, they're wasting troops. They need every troop they're gonna get to try and take Super Earth, and they're gonna fail because we're gonna kick them out. But I'm stressing about this. I don't know why. I'm so sorry. To me, this is something to be worried about because Mars got wiped off the face of the Earth. Or face of the Earth. No, off the face of the galaxy in a matter of hours. Like an hour and Mars was just gone. So that's concerning. Where did the Illuminate get this tech? They just obliterated a planet. Like, that's something to be worried. Like, if they're unable to take Super Earth, are they just gonna glass Super Earth? Is Super Earth just gonna go, boom, all right, well, Super Earth is now completely destroyed because they didn't take it, so they set it all on fire. That is something to be worried about. We need to think about that. Basically, the Illuminate should not lose unless they are idiots. If they are, I kid you not, that's the only way we win this, if they are idiots. So just keep fighting and hope they are stupid, because otherwise we are screwed. But anyways, that's all I have for today. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and leave a like, as I would really appreciate all of that. It means a lot to me when y'all do that. Also, leave a comment on any other planet I should do a breakdown on, like a history video of like any planet, like Meridia or Tarek or Widow's Harbor, or I don't know, Cyberstan maybe. But not Malevelon Creek. I'm not doing Malevelon Creek. There's like a dozen videos out there now that have done that. I am not doing Malevelon Creek. Deal with it. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys today. And always remember, Helldivers, for Super Earth and managed democracy. I'll see you next time.